Your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief keeps you informed about what's happening in Annapolis, Anne Arundel County, and Maryland. Local news, local sports, local events, local opinion, and, of course, local weather. Your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief starts now.
Good morning. It's Monday, March 6th, 2023. This is John Frenaye, and this is your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief presented by Annapolis Subaru and the SPCA of Anne Arundel County. Man, what a great weekend. The Hoolie, Shamrock the Dock, and a fantastic St. Patrick's Parade. And the weather was spectacular. All right, we do have a lot of news to catch up on, so shall we? Not many details on this just yet, but late last night there was a serious shooting in the 800 block of Royal Street in Annapolis. We do not know anything about the victim beyond that they were airlifted to shock trauma. We will have an update on this a bit later this morning. Late Friday morning, the Annapolis Police Department released a bit more information on the fatal shooting that happened on Thursday afternoon on Obery Court. They said the victim was identified as Raphael Hinton Johnson, Jr., and he was killed by a single gunshot wound to the back of his head. They are asking anyone with any information to contact them at 410-260-3439. Now, Mayor Buckley issued a statement saying, quote, "I want to express condolences to the victim's family, and our neighbors in the Clay Street community. The Annapolis community deserves to live in safety and peace. An incident like this, a shooting in broad daylight, in an area where children play and families sit on their porch after a long day's work, is frightening and disturbing. There are people who can readily access guns and think it is acceptable to use violence. It's infuriating and frustrating." He did say that he was confident that APD would find the suspect and make an arrest. County Health Officer Dr. Nilesh Kalinaraman is out, and he is headed to Baltimore to work as the Deputy Director of Health Services for the state of Maryland. His last day here in the county will be March 21st. County Executive Pittman will name a replacement shortly. Another out, as reported by the Capitol, is Michael LaPlace. He's the Annapolis Planning and Zoning Director, and he didn't quite make it a year here in Annapolis. He says he is headed back to New Jersey, where he worked for the city of Princeton. With the recent court orders and litigation, can't say I blame the guy. And a final out, Governor Larry Hogan. He is not running for president, citing a poll a few weeks ago that suggested that his entrance into the race would likely tip the scales in favor of former President Donald Trump. And Hogan has never been a Trump fan and does not want the Republican Party to continue their slide to, quote, angry performative politics. Honestly, Hogan stood a minuscule chance at best. Ask Martin O'Malley about that. And in my opinion, I think he should take a look at the U.S. Senate seat currently held by Ben Cardin, as the senator is not expected to run again. The Anne Arundel County Public Schools are presenting a free screening of a very important film, Sextortion, The Hidden Pandemic. Sextortion is a reality for many of today's youth with potentially deadly consequences. The first screening will be at Broadneck High on Wednesday at 6 p.m., and we will have a link at eyeonannapolis.net for tickets. They are free, but you need to get them. The second screening will be at Meade High on May 11th, and tickets are not yet available for that one. Yes, keyboardist, the guy behind the piano on Morning Has Broken and Space Odyssey is coming back to Annapolis. Rick Wakeman will be at Maryland Hall on April 11th, and tickets are on sale now at ramsheadonstage.com. And you want to head to our post on our website because we did put a player in there so you can listen to a podcast we did with Rick back in 2019 when he was here last time. Profs and Pints was so successful the last times, they are coming back on March 14th to the Trophy Room at the Graduate Hotel. The topic is those who left Ireland and what drove the Irish diaspora, and Matthew Zeniak, an associate professor of history at the Naval Academy, will lead the evening. We have a link for tickets on eyeonannapolis.net, and we will be dropping a bonus pod, perhaps today, with the man behind the concept. I'll be there on the 14th, so if you are there, please stop and say hello. And this week, Thursday to be exact, a fun night at Maggiano's Little Italy over at the mall. Not only authentic and really good Italian cuisine, but the magic and illusions and mental mind-blowing of Savino Racine. Your $65 ticket does include a show, of course, but salad, appetizer, a choice of 4 entrees, and a selection of mini desserts. The evening runs from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., and I bet it would be awesome for kids too. Probably the 8 and over crowd. Anyhow, you can go search at Eventbrite for Maggiano's and you'll see them there, or you can go to ionannapolis.net. We do have a link. Friday for Canines and Crosstreks, we headed to Paws at the mall and discovered that it is Adopt a Guinea Pig month. Who knew? And they have plenty, along with rabbits, rats, mice, and kittens. If you missed the segment, you do want to check out Friday's post at noon, and we do have some great photos and the recorded segment there for you. Okay, that's a wrap. Thank you first and foremost, and also a quick thank you to our sponsors for the Daily News Brief: Annapolis Subaru, the SPCA of Anne Arundel County, Solar Energy Services, Hospice of the Chesapeake, and Alpha Engineering. Ann Alsina is here with your Monday Money Report, and George Young from DCMDVA Weather is here with the only locally forecast weather report you're going to find. All that coming up in just a bit, so hang around.
Coping with advanced illness can be overwhelming, and determining the best options for a loved one isn't always so easy. But here at Hospice of the Chesapeake, your hometown hospice, we want you to know you do have a choice. You can choose exactly who provides the care and the type of care you receive, and it's your decision when and where your loved one receives that care. We have served our community, family, and friends for over 40 years. We are there when you need us. Learn how we can help at hospicechesapeake.org.
When you live near Annapolis, you know how fickle the weather can be. So you need a truly local forecast that's accurate and reliable. Forecast right here in Annapolis. DCMDVA Weather is not just for today, but for the rest of the week and the weekend too. Now here's George Young of DCMDVA Weather with the weather outlook for today and beyond.
Hey everyone, this is George with DCMDVA Weather, and this is your Eye on Annapolis forecast for Monday, March 5th. Not a bad weekend for the Annapolis region. While it will be fairly nice out today and tomorrow, conditions are going to turn colder across the region for an extended period. Look for mostly sunny skies today with light winds as highs get into the mid to upper 50s, to be followed by mixed skies tomorrow and highs mid-50s to maybe lower 60s in spots, with more breezy winds gusting to 30-plus miles per hour, which will then lead to cooler temps Wednesday and Thursday with highs each day in the upper 40s to mid-50s despite ample sunshine, with more upper 40s to lower 50s Friday through Sunday with a chance of rain each day. Okay, that's it for today. This is George Young of DCMDVA Weather. Make it a great day out there today. Stay healthy and be safe. Don't forget, follow DCMDVA Weather on Facebook and Twitter for regular updates each day, along with the website at dcmdvaweather.info. Definitely be sure to download the DCMDVA Weather app on all of your devices from either the Apple or Google App Stores, so you can always stay weather informed.
The benefits of a good night's sleep are well documented. Sleeping well prevents weight gain, improves concentration and creativity, and boosts the immune system. So, what keeps you up at night? If you run a business, then the security of your computer network may be one of those things. Threats like ransomware and phishing are becoming increasingly sophisticated and pose a real risk to any business. Don't let these cyber threats keep you up at night. At Alpha, they've been helping their customers sleep better for over 30 years by monitoring in real time and hardening network defenses. And for those irritating IT issues that arise every day, Alpha's just a phone call away, helping your business run smoothly and helping you sleep better, knowing Alpha is on guard. Give Alpha a call to see if they can ease your worries and help you get the rest you deserve. Find them at alphagetsit.com.
You work hard for your money. Is your money working hard for you? Managing and investing, it can be confusing. Ann Alsina, a financial planner from CovingtonAlsina, has been helping people make sense of it all for over 17 years. Are you ready? Now here's your Monday Money Report.
This is Ann Alsina of CovingtonAlsina with your Monday Money Report. Last week the markets were up, although not enough for a positive February. Year to date, we are still improving, with the S&P up over 5%. We expect continued volatility or swings in the market for at least the first half of this year. Remember that your investments are measured in the number of shares you own, not what you can sell those shares for at this moment in time. As interest rates continue to rise, many investors are looking at bonds again as a source of income. A bond is a debt instrument. Instead of selling more shares or borrowing from a bank, publicly traded companies issue bonds. State or local governments or their agencies issue municipal bonds. Bonds are typically issued in $1,000 increments for a set period of time. Most pay a fixed rate of interest, which is why we refer to bonds as fixed income. When retirements were not as long as they are today, many retirees held most of their investment in bonds, so they were living on a fixed income as they received interest payments from the bonds. Bonds are seen as less risky than stocks for several reasons. First, while the current value of a bond may fluctuate some, it's generally not as big of a swing as stocks can be. Second, if you own individual bonds and hold them to maturity, you receive your original investment, or what you loaned the company or government, back when the bond matures. If the company you loan the money to goes through bankruptcy, bondholders are paid before stockholders, providing another layer of protection. You can begin investing in bonds in a bond mutual fund. For investors with a bit more money, you may want to consider a bond ladder. For a 10-year ladder, you would invest, say, $10,000 in bonds that mature in 1 year, $10,000 in bonds that mature in 2 years, and so on. In a year, when the first set of bonds mature, you invest that money in new 10-year bonds. The shorter the duration of the bond, or the sooner the bond matures, the less the price will fluctuate. By having a series of bonds of different maturities, you can further reduce your short-term risk if you need to liquidate some assets. It also allows you to take advantage of rising interest rates as you buy new bonds with a higher coupon or interest payment. Buying corporate bonds versus municipal bonds will impact your taxes too. Bonds issued by a municipality are not subject to federal income tax for the most part. There are some things, including the alternative minimum tax and Social Security taxation, that are impacted by municipal bond interest income. But the interest is not directly subject to federal tax. If you hold bonds issued by a government in the state you live in, the state does not tax that interest income. Because of this, municipal bonds pay less interest than corporate bonds. We calculate a tax equivalent yield to see which is the better deal. The tax equivalent yield is the interest rate the bond would need to pay to have the same net or after-tax income if the interest was subject to income tax. It's worth a conversation with your advisor and your CPA to plan location of assets or what type of account you want to hold which type of investments. Being tax savvy can have a big impact at the end of the day because it's not what you earn, it's what you keep. Your action item this week is to consider an energy audit. BGE offers audits and then rebates on recommended work. There are also federal tax credits available. Follow us on Facebook and check out our website at CovingtonAlsina.com for more information and great resources. Investment advice offered through Great Value Advice Group, a registered investment advisor. All performance references historical and is no guarantee of future results. All indices around managed may not be invested into directly. The opinions voiced in this show for general information only and not to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which strategies or investments may be appropriate for you, contact the appropriate qualified professional prior to making a decision. And if you don't have a financial advisor, come talk to us. This is Ann Alsina with CovingtonAlsina.
Hello, energy consumers. This is Rick Peters, president of Solar Energy Services. Have you been looking for ways to save money recently? Maybe you should consider solar energy for your home. Or are you waiting for the technology to get cheaper? If so, how long are you going to wait? Today's solar costs less than 20% of what it cost 10 years ago. But while solar prices have declined every year, so have the financial incentives. Bottom line, if you wait for cheaper solar, you're also waiting for lower incentives. Take my home, for example. My solar system was installed in 2010, and it's been paid off for almost 5 years, and I no longer have to buy any electricity for another 15 to 20 years. If I waited for cheaper solar, I'd still be paying an electric bill. At Solar Energy Services, we have thousands of satisfied customers who are sure glad they didn't wait. So what are you waiting for? Sunshine's a wasted. Call us today for a free solar design at 410-923-6090 or on the web at solarsaves.net.
Sunshine, sunshine, nothing else can make me feel so fine.
You've been listening to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. Tell your friends and colleagues, this is the podcast where you can keep up on the latest with what's going on in Annapolis and Anne Arundel County. And don't forget about our website, eyeonannapolis.net, where you can find even more information. And make sure you follow us on Facebook at All Annapolis and on Twitter at Eye on Annapolis. This Daily News Brief podcast comes to you every Monday through Friday at 6 a.m.